Imagine a very ordinary day. You're thirsty. You open the fridge. Not water. A can of ice-cold soda. A soft hiss as you crack it open. You drink. Everything ends there. Or does it? The truth is, the story of soda doesn't stop at sweetness. The moment the first sip touches your mouth, the acid in soda quietly begins eroding your tooth enamel. At the same time, the bacteria in dental plaque are being fed with sugar. They multiply. They destroy. You don't feel pain right away. That's the frightening part. The body rarely gives early warnings when damage happens slowly. One can of soda can contain around 46 grams of sugar. Your tongue notices. Your brain does too. The reward center lights up. Your brain whispers a familiar line. Have another. Not because you need it, but because your brain has learned that this is fast, cheap pleasure, easy to repeat. Now turn the dial up a bit. If you replace all the water you should drink in a day with soda, in just 1 week, you've taken in thousands of extra calories. Not from food, from something you usually don't even count as eating. This is soda's biggest trap: liquid calories. The human brain is terrible at registering energy from drinks. So you eat the same as usual, sometimes even more. Studies show that a significant part of modern weight gain is directly linked to sugary drinks. Not because people are weak, but because our biology was never designed to process a constant stream of liquid sugar. The problem becomes more serious when you look at the type of sugar commonly found in soda: high-fructose corn syrup. It isn't metabolized like natural sugars. It increases liver fat, raises cardiovascular risk, and most dangerously, it doesn't properly trigger insulin and leptin, the two hormones that tell you when you're full. The result: you keep eating, keep drinking, without a clear stop signal. Many people think, then I'll just drink diet soda. Sounds logical. But the body isn't a simple calorie equation. Sweetness, whether from real sugar or artificial sweeteners, still stimulates appetite. It can even create a familiar psychological trap. I had a diet drink, so eating a little more is fine. Many people gain weight not because of one big meal, but because of small, justified decisions repeated every day. There's a detail few people talk about: soda doesn't just affect weight, it affects the rate of aging. Regular soda drinkers show shortening of telomeres, the protective ends of chromosomes, at a rate close to that of smokers. In other words, the body ages faster, even when you still look fine on the outside. And this isn't a hypothesis. There's a real case. A woman drank about 2 liters of soda every day for 16 years. No history of heart disease. But at age 31, she was hospitalized for arrhythmia and fainting. The cause was severe potassium deficiency, as fructose and caffeine caused continuous mineral loss through urine and digestion. When she stopped drinking soda, her body began to recover. Slowly, but it did. This leads to a very important and very human conclusion. Your body is incredibly tolerant, but it is not infinite. Soda doesn't kill you in a day. It does something more dangerous. It trains you to harm yourself without noticing. And by the time the body speaks up, usually through disease, you're often already far down the road. This video isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to make you aware. Because by changing just one small habit, what you drink every day, you can change many things that follow. If you've ever gone through a phase where you mostly drank soda, or you're trying to lose weight and don't understand why your body won't cooperate, leave a comment. Real-life stories are often what help us understand our bodies better than any theory. There's something people working in health like me see all the time, but rarely say directly in videos. The problem isn't soda itself. It's our relationship with soda. A lot of people don't drink it because they enjoy it. They drink it because they're tired, because they're sad, because they need a quick push to keep working. Soda becomes a form of emotional support that's cheap and convenient. No preparation, no waiting, just pop the tab. The body gets stimulated. The brain gets rewarded. And you gain a few minutes of artificial alertness, but the price doesn't come immediately. It arrives quietly. The caffeine in soda wakes you up fast, but it also makes you more deeply exhausted afterward. Sugar lifts your mood, then drags your energy down. So you reach for another can, not because you're thirsty, but because your body is trying to patch an imbalance it doesn't understand the cause of. Many people tell me, I don't drink that much. Just 1 or 2 cans a day? True. But every day is the most important word here. The body doesn't care about what you do once in a while. It cares about what you repeat. 1 can today doesn't matter much. But 365 cans a year is different. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years added together. Those numbers leave very real marks. A waistline that won't shrink, elevated liver enzymes, shallow sleep, irregular heartbeats, a constant sense of fatigue with no clear reason. What troubles me most is how many people blame themselves. They think they lack discipline, weak willpower, laziness, but very few look closely at what they drink every day. A small habit, socially normalized, advertised everywhere, tied to fun, entertainment, and rewarding yourself. Soda isn't bad because it's sweet. It's dangerous because it disguises itself. It's not like cigarettes. No bad smell. No obvious warnings. It looks harmless. And precisely because of that, it sinks deep into daily life. The good news is that the body has an astonishing ability to recover. When liquid sugar goes down, hormones begin working properly again. Hunger signals become clearer. Energy stabilizes. Many people simply replace soda with water or unsweetened sparkling water for a few weeks and suddenly realize, so I wasn't lazy all along. I was just dysregulated. If you're watching this until now, you may have wondered why you feel tired without knowing why, or why your weight doesn't match your effort. Sometimes the answer isn't what you're eating, but what you're drinking. Consider this video an invitation to observe, not to judge. Observe your own habits. Observe how you feel after each can of soda, and ask yourself, am I thirsty for water or thirsty for something else? If this story resonates with you, share your experience in the comments. Your real-life story might be the thing that helps someone else realize what they've been overlooking for years. If we widen the lens by one more layer of science, the story of soda begins to touch very deep mechanisms that we rarely notice, because they operate outside conscious awareness. The human body evolved in a completely different environment. Water was the primary drink. Sugar was rare. When sugar appeared, it usually came with fiber, protein, and slow digestion. Soda breaks that entire logic. It delivers a large amount of sugar into the bloodstream almost instantly, with no chewing, no complex digestion. Biologically, this is an abnormal signal. When glucose and fructose flood the blood that quickly, the pancreas must react urgently. Insulin is released to pull sugar out of the bloodstream. If this happens repeatedly, day after day, cells begin to lose sensitivity to insulin. This is the pre-diabetic stage that many people are in without knowing it. Because they are still not sick, the body is still coping, but it is under strain. Fructose follows a different path. It is processed almost exclusively in the liver. When fructose intake exceeds energy needs, the liver is forced to convert it into fat. Fatty liver causes no pain. No obvious sensation, but it changes how the liver regulates cholesterol, blood pressure, and inflammation. That's why many people don't eat excessively. Yet blood tests still show elevated liver enzymes and mild fatty liver. One rarely discussed issue is mineral loss. Soda often contains caffeine and phosphoric acid. Caffeine increases urine output, carrying potassium and magnesium with it. Phosphoric acid can affect calcium balance. When these deficiencies are mild but chronic, the nervous system begins to function less stably, heart palpitations, muscle cramps, restlessness, shallow sleep, vague anxiety. Many people seek medical help for stress, while the root cause lies in what they drink every day. From a neurological perspective, soda also interferes with the dopamine system, the system linked to motivation and reward. Strong sweetness combined with caffeine creates a brief but distinct spike. The brain learns very quickly tired drink, temporary relief. The problem is that dopamine isn't only about pleasure. It's also about the ability to feel interest in ordinary things. When this system is overstimulated too often, slower rewards, healthy meals, gentle movement, rest start to feel flat. That's why many people feel something's missing without soda. This isn't addiction in a moral sense. It's that the brain has recalibrated its stimulation threshold. From an evolutionary standpoint, this makes complete sense. The brain is designed to remember and prioritize fast energy sources. Soda sends a false signal of abundant energy. The brain doesn't know it's an industrial product. It simply reacts according to ancient survival instincts. The key point is this: there's no need for extremism. Science doesn't say that an occasional soda will destroy you. The issue is always frequency and context. Drinking soda as a rare treat is very different from using it daily to fight fatigue, sadness, or emptiness. When people reduce soda intake, they're often surprised by changes that have nothing to do directly with weight: deeper sleep, fewer cravings, more stable mood, a lighter feeling in the head. These are signs that hormonal and neural systems are slowly returning to a balance you had grown accustomed to living without. Looked at more broadly, soda is a clear example of how the modern environment has advanced far faster than our biology. The body isn't broken. Willpower isn't weak. We're simply living in a system that constantly stimulates mechanisms meant for emergencies. And perhaps the deepest connection this video aims to create isn't advice to stop drinking soda, but a larger question in daily life. How many things make you feel okay immediately, but make your body pay the price later? Recognizing that question alone is already a major step toward real health. From my personal experience working for many years with health data, clinics, and very real stories outside the laboratory, one thing has become increasingly clear. Soda is not a lone culprit. It is a symptom of a deeper lifestyle imbalance. When I ask someone who drinks soda every day, "When do you usually drink it?" the answer is, "Rarely when I'm happy." More often, it's when I'm sleepy, when I'm stressed, when I'm working late, when my mind feels foggy, when I need to keep going even though my body wants to stop. Physiologically, that's when the body's stress axis is active, cortisol is high, heart rate increases. The brain shifts into survival mode. Soda then acts like a chemical crutch. It doesn't heal the fracture. It just helps you take a few more steps while the injury is still there. What I find most unfortunate is that soda often masks the body's real signals. Thirst is mistaken for sugar cravings. Fatigue is mistaken for lack of motivation. Boredom is mistaken for hunger. And every time soda appears, the brain learns another wrong lesson. This feeling is solved with sugar and caffeine. Over time, the ability to read internal signals weakens. People can no longer distinguish true hunger from stress, or sleep deprivation from emotional exhaustion. Everything collapses into a vague sensation. I need another can. One scientific point that's fascinating but rarely discussed is circadian rhythm. Drinking soda, especially in the late afternoon or evening, affects sleep not only because of caffeine, but because sugar raises insulin at a time when the body should be shifting into rest mode. This leads to lighter sleep and less deep sleep. The next morning, you wake up tired, and the loop begins again. Tired soda, fake alertness, deeper fatigue. Many people think their problem is poor sleep discipline. In reality, they are disrupting their circadian rhythm with what they drink, then blaming themselves for the consequences. I've also noticed a sociological pattern. Soda is often tied to busyness. The less real rest a person has, the more likely they are to rely on fast energy sources. In that environment, soda is no longer just a personal choice. It's a product designed to fit an overloaded pace of life. That's why when talking about reducing soda, I rarely start with quit soda. I usually start with a question. What is soda replacing for you? Water, sleep, rest, the permission to stop without guilt. Modern science increasingly shows that health doesn't reside in a single substance, but in the body's capacity for self-regulation. Soda weakens that capacity by intervening too strongly, too quickly, too often. And the last thing I want to share, not as a professional, but as someone who has observed many human bodies, when someone begins replacing soda with water, it's not just a change of drink. It's often the first time they allow their body to exist in its natural state, without being pushed. At first, it feels uncomfortable. The mind feels empty. Energy feels low. But that's not a bad sign. It's a sign the body is relearning how to balance itself after years of being propped up by external stimulation. If you're in that phase, feeling a sense of emptiness when you reduce soda, understand this: you are not getting weaker. You are returning to your real state. And it's often in that state that many people realize, for the first time, what they need isn't another can, but a slower rhythm of life, one that's more honest with their own body. When looking back at this whole story from teeth and hormones to the liver, the brain, and daily rhythms, I arrive at a very simple conclusion. One that's also very hard to accept. Soda doesn't harm you because it's toxic. It harms you because it's too convenient. It shows up exactly when you're at your weakest, when you're tired, busy, when you need to keep going even though your body is depleted. It gives you immediate relief, then quietly takes away the body's ability to self-regulate. And because the consequences don't arrive right away, we learn to dismiss it. Science doesn't side with extremism. No one needs to live in fear of a can of soda. The issue isn't whether you drink it or not, but what you're using soda to fix in your life. When soda becomes a daily tool to fight fatigue, sadness, or emptiness, it's no longer just a drink. It becomes a warning signal. The good news is that the human body has remarkable capacity to recover. By simply reducing constant stimulation, hormones can relearn how to function. Sleep can deepen again. Hunger and fullness cues can become clearer. And most importantly, you begin to hear what your body is saying again. Instead of constantly silencing it with sugar and caffeine, if you remember only one thing from this video, let it be this: health isn't built from rare, big decisions, but from small habits repeated every day. What you drink when you're thirsty, tired, or sad says a lot about how you're treating yourself. Not to judge, but to understand. If this story made you pause for a few seconds and look at the can in your hand, then the video has done its job. And if you want to share your journey still drinking, cutting back, or having quit soda, leave a comment. Real experiences always carry more weight than any statistic. Your body is constantly trying to protect you. The only question is, are you giving it the chance?